Hello, everyone, and welcome or welcome back. I'm Cathy Liska with the Center for Coaching Certification and with Coach 123.
I'm Pandora Ray, and also with the Center for Coaching Certification and Coach 123.
And yeah, please go, Olivia.
I'm Olivia De Willermin, and I've been one of Cathy's clients for the past 10 years. So incredible, 10 years already.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely been a privilege. So we are so excited that Olivia is here to share her experience in terms of coaching from the perspective of being a client. So very excited about that. And I know one of the questions Pan asked when we were setting this up, she asked Olivia if she's a coach, and Olivia is not a coach. So this is pure client perspective, and that's pretty exciting. So Olivia, we're gonna throw it to you for most of this.
Okay, great.
And the first question is, what motivates you to be here and have this conversation with us?
Yeah, well, I think coaching is for everyone. And if I can, shed some more light on how amazing coaching has been for me, then, I'm happy to do that, because it's been a lifesaver in so many ways in my life. So yeah, I'm excited to answer these questions and be here today.
Tell us the story. How did this come about?
So 10 years ago, I was in a difficult place in my life, and I already knew that I wanted to do some coaching. And then Cathy just appeared in my life. Sometimes that happens. It's wonderful when it does. And yeah, so we just started. And I was unemployed at the time. And as I said, kind of struggling with my life in general on so many levels. And she just, Cathy had me do lots of different exercises. But I think the most impactful one at the time, and still somehow it helps me today, was to really think thoroughly about what I want in my life, in every part of my life. What would my life ideally look like, right? And I love that exercise because it gave me so much, so many possibilities, so much excitement, so much vitality that I lacked at the time. To think that was actually, an exercise that could, that could focus on my dreams and everything that I want to create in my life, right? So that was, an in-depth exercise, and still today I think about it all the time, how much that exercise impacted me, and I go back to it and I think about, the changes that I've made in my life thanks to coaching. So, it was quite that the coaching was quite intensive the first few months. Actually, I'd say the first year, at least the first year. And I was really in a rut, I'd say. So what coaching and Cathy helped with was, to give me a toolkit of things that I could have at my disposal, right? To think about how to navigate my life in all parts of my life. And, and the big piece at the time obviously was finding work, so that I was able to find, part-time work, which gave me a lot more confidence, which I lacked at the time. And what I really wanted was to work in the protection of the environment at a global level. And, I never thought that that would be possible. But somehow with Cathy's help and encouragement, I started applying for jobs. And then eventually, out of the blue, I got a call for an interview, and I made the job, and I got promoted several times, and I never thought that this would be a possibility for me. So that's only like on the job front. But then, I also wanted to do a lot of traveling and living in different countries and traveling to many different countries that I had never been to. And, up to now, I've been able to achieve that. I've lived in a few countries since then and traveled to quite a few. So yeah, my life has just been so much enriched by coaching and by Cathy's support. And 10 years later, I don't I don't call on Cathy so often as I used to, but I still once in a while will reach out to Cathy when I have an issue in my life that I'm not sure how to deal with, and she'll either remind me of strategies or tools that we've used together before, or come up with something completely new that to help me, again, find the solutions within me, because again, that's a big part of the coaching and coaching with Cathy, is that she empowers you to find the solutions yourself. So she doesn't give you solutions. She listens to you in every sense of that word, and she'll give you prompts so that the solutions can come out of you, because we all have them within ourselves. Yeah.
So it sounds like professionally this has been wonderful. Lots of travel, lots of environmental activism and leadership. What is your contribution in that sphere? What is it that Olivia is doing to impact environmental?
So I worked in global campaigns, so focusing on protecting natural World Heritage sites, protecting protected areas, and also advocating, doing a lot of advocacy work on the governmental front, which is one of the reasons why I traveled so much. And yeah, trying to diminish the harmful industrial activities on and in these sites. So they can be coral reefs or big forests, you name it, rivers, and yeah, so it's been very exciting work. There's so much to be done, but I've worked with incredibly talented and gifted people, and yeah, and I hope that will continue in my lifetime, because there's so much to be done still. Yeah.
So what other impacts in your life has coaching benefited?
I think, well, in my relationships, it's helped a lot in terms of how I approach people, and also I would say with boundaries, setting better boundaries. So I tend to overextend myself. So I think that's something that I've learned, is how to be more centered within me. And I think when you know what your goals and your objectives and your dreams are, that also helps recenter yourself within you, instead of focusing on the other or others. And yeah, and I think I was wanting to rescue people. That was a big thing for me, and I've learned that actually the best thing is, again, as Cathy would do, is to listen, right, and to empower the other. So to believe and to trust in the other person, and just be there by their side, and maybe when they need prompts, give them prompts, but it's up to the other to find to find the solution within themselves. And so that's made a big difference in my work life, but also in my personal life, in how I navigate relationships. And yeah, and also just, other things is like hobbies, right? Because I have so many interests, I think a lot of us do, and we'd like to be able to do everything in this life, right? But somehow, you can't have, 10 different jobs. So, just kind of developing these different hobbies, but really in a more structured way, in a way where I feel like I'm really developing them, and again that's helped me with my confidence too. It's I don't feel like I'm just fantasizing. I'm also kind of putting in motion things that I wish to see in my life, and things that I wish to create. So that's been a big piece too for me.
Nice. Nice. We teach a lot about self-confidence, and the opposite of that is low self-esteem. So when you think about that time in 2014, what would you suggest to somebody who's having issues with self-confidence? What advice would you give them?
Well, I think first of all, lots of compassion, and space to hold that, those difficulties. We all go through them, and it's yeah, I still have gone through them in these past 10 years. It wasn't just in 2014. We all have ups and downs throughout the years and the year. And I would say that, again, kind of thinking about the reality of coaching, right? Coaching is listening to someone, is empowering them, but so that's one person, but actually we need a community of people to speak to. So I think community is a big piece, right? Making sure that you're talking to people about what's happening to you right now, and that's definitely been something that I've struggled with, right? I'm not doing well, therefore I'll shut down and I won't necessarily reach out, right? And actually reaching out is a big piece. And I think, again, coaching helped me with that, right? Come out and feel more confident that actually what I'm going through, lots of other people are going through, and being vulnerable together, that's our strength, right? We need that support, and supporting one another is the gift, right, of being on this earth together. So, yeah.
And applying that self-awareness into your future, how do you apply what you have learned situationally, specific? What are some examples of how you're applying all you've learned in terms of self-confidence and your dreams and achieving what you wanted? How are you applying that forward?
Yeah, so I think a big one kind of exercise that I love to do, and we worked on that at the very beginning with Cathy, and it's followed me since, is I like to do that at the beginning of the year, right? Is like, what do I want my year to look like? So I kind of have a sense of the direction I want to go towards. And again, that's not just professionally, it's in every area of my life. So when I'm kind of wobbly in those moments, right, I go back to that. I go back to what's my direction, what's the excitement. So that's one piece. And then the other thing is, what do I need to take care of myself, right? So, and that's different for each of us. But implementing those little things each day, even if we don't have that much time, is crucial, right? So when I wake up, what are the first things that I want to do with in my day to start the day in a positive way, right? So you know, start the year, start the month, start the week, start the day, all those things have an impact, right? And I think coaching helps you understand that yeah, you ending and beginning the day, what are you grateful for? You know, what were the positive things that happened in your life today? So all those things, I would say, yeah, have helped enormously.
That's inspiring.
It's so awesome. I want to insert just kind of a behind the scenes piece. So
Yeah.
Olivia, you haven't gone through training. Pan and I train coaches all the time. So the behind the scenes piece, the exercise Olivia is talking about is actually part of our intake process, based on the training we do at the Center for Coaching Certification, where we teach our coaches to have that conversation, asking the client, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? In all those different areas and what comes from that. So that's the exercise you're talking about. We literally are teaching coaches how to do that. The other thing I'd like to throw out that or highlight in what you said is that you're the one finding the answers inside yourself. And for so many people, there's this common misunderstanding. They think, oh, the coach is going to tell me what to do and how to do it and that kind of thing. And in the world of coaching, that's actually unethical. We don't do that. And so when we train coaches, if part of the process to help them get a credential is there's this assessing of their coaching. And if the coach is telling the client what to do or how to do it, they fail. They don't pass. So those are just kind of little snippets from behind the scenes that I hope help people understand some of what you're saying, Olivia. Probably not something we've ever talked about before. So
well, I mean, in a way, you know, when I first started, I was like, oh yeah, you know, I just need someone to tell me what to do. I just, you know, that's just easier. Just tell me what to do. But actually, you know, when I talk about the excitement and the vitality and all, you know, what kind of makes me want to get up in the morning, all that it's my you know, my journey. I had to find all that within myself, and nobody else knows what's within you. So that's the exercise that, okay, it takes more effort, but in the end, it's so much more rewarding if you know, if you take that time to delve deep inside of you and find out, and what you find out is generally really wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's when you talk about help with self-esteem and confidence, what's interesting is it's not something we like talking about because it's a vulnerable subject. It isn't necessarily a sexy topic. It's safe in that one-on-one coaching relationship. And you were very brave to bring that up here. How does coaching support your self-confidence?
Well, I mean, I would say, you know, it's first of all, it's an open space. It's a trusting space. So I always felt like I could be myself fully. I could bring anything to the coaching session to you, and there was no judgment, right? So already that, to me, was huge, to feel I could be myself fully. I could bring anything, every part of me, all those parts that, you know, we find difficult to look at in the mirror. All those things I could bring in the session, and you could, you know, you saw them, and I never felt any judgment on your part. On the contrary, it's, you know, it's kind of huge acceptance of, you know, of who I am, and then just the constant level of encouragement, you know, of no matter what I wanted to achieve, no matter how big my dreams were, there was never any moment where you were like, well, I'm not quite sure whether, you know, that's going to be achievable. You know, I mean, anything is possible, right? Which is fantastic. For me, it helped me so much to believe that that I could achieve. Okay, my dreams have changed from 10 years ago, right? But that was up to me to decide, you know, that actually maybe I was kind of off, you know, about a few things. And with maturity, I realized that I don't need those things, you know, but you never doubted, you never judged, you just encouraged. And I think that's just, you know, that's what we all need, right? We all need that level of acceptance and encouragement. So yeah, I mean, and it's, you know, I hear your voice, you know, when I'm doubting myself. I kind of, it's, you know, it's this the good mother voice, right? Of yeah. It's really been an incredible journey, and still, you know, still continuing on the journey. And for me, that's what coaching is, right? It's a journey. I mean, there's some moments where you need it with more intensity, and other times where, you know, life is flowing and you don't need it so much. And yeah, so it's ever evolving. Yeah.
Thinking about the experience and what we've talked about today, what do you want to say that you haven't yet said?
I would say, you know, we are so lucky to have these tools like coaching at our disposal today, right? It wasn't the case a century ago. It wasn't the case, you know, 50 years ago. And it would be a shame not to take this opportunity, right? This tool at our disposal, and it's at everyone's disposal. And just go for it. I think, you know, it's we all need, you know, our hand to be held at some point in the journey, and I do feel like this is a fantastic hand, and yeah, so yeah, I think that's what I'd like to.
It's a powerful reminder that even as a coach, how important it is to have a coach too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Thank you.
Another question for you. So in coaching, we don't teach any skills or do any of that, because it's all about asking questions and supporting you discovering for yourself. At the same time, you learn skills through that journey of discovery. So what are some of the skills that you've acquired through the coaching process? And then if I can, I know it's a stacked question, how are you using those today?
Yeah, well, I think the recording is a big part, right? At least for me. So for those who are not familiar, one of the exercises is to kind of record the life that you wish to create for yourself in a very positive way, using like positive language. And you record yourself several times on repeat, and you listen to that when you fall asleep. So, you know, it goes deeper in the subconscious mind. And so that's been a huge huge tool for me, you know, and even if I don't listen to it at night, maybe in the metro I'll listen to it, and also hearing my voice speak those words, right? It's, again, that's such an empowering process, to have to record it again 3 or 4 times, right? But also, yeah, hearing your voice say those words, say what you want to create for yourself. So that's, I would say, the tool that I use the most. And then, you know, I mean, there's so many over the years, but you know, gratitude is a huge part, I think, and you know, positive messages, positive affirmations. So you know, I'm you know, often I catch myself, and I think we all do, with this kind of negative language. And if, you know, if we reframe the language to make it positive, that's, you know, that's a huge bonus. So that's another tool that I would say I use quite a lot, kind of catching myself thinking these negative thoughts, and then maybe writing them down, and then thinking, well, how can I reframe that language that in a way that can benefit me, and is more likely to help me you know, create that life that I wish for myself. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's so many others, but yeah, I would say that those are the ones I work with the most on a daily basis.
Yeah. And then in terms of how you interact with other people, what have you taken out of coaching that helps you in your interactions with others?
Well, I guess kind of I emulate you the best I can, obviously. So, you know, in friendships, I would, you know, especially among women, right? We share a lot, and there are often kind of difficulties about one's life that come up, right? And it's, so I would say that I try to be like a coach in a way, right? So doing the listening, as I mentioned earlier, as much as I can, and seeing how, you know, I can, yeah, maybe share a few of the tools that you've helped me identify as part of my toolkit. And then some of the readings, you know, you've in the early stages, you recommended some readings, and you know, those books, and still help me today. So yeah, I see, yeah, I think in a way, like seeing you be a coach, it's kind of helped me. I mean, I haven't done the training or anything, but it's I enjoy that process, right? Of seeing how one can be that you know, that supportive for another. Yeah. And also just that non-judgmental space. I think it's so huge for the world in general, just listening. And we don't know what people's experiences are, right? And why they are, how they are. So yeah.
So, and I know we're getting close on our time. So if somebody's debating whether or not to work with a coach, it costs time and money. It's a big investment. What advice do you have for them?
Yeah, I mean, I would I would, you know, I mean, of course it costs money, and you need to put, you know, to put aside some time. But at the end of the day, you know, we only have one life, and I don't know, you know, it doesn't really matter how old you are, right? And what the future holds, but coaching can help you with what the future holds, right? And it can make it so much, you know, so much richer and deeper and more meaningful of a life, I think. And who doesn't want that, right? So for sure, of course, I see that, but I think, yeah, that all the gifts that coaching has brought to my life have just far outweighed, you know, the time and the money, and yeah, and I'm sure that there are ways of you know, doing coaching that can kind of work around one's life, right? But I really think it's one of the greatest gifts that you can give yourself. So, you know, and you deserve it. Everyone deserves it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Closing thoughts, both of you.
Well, for me, I'm just so grateful for coaching and for Cathy, and yeah, for being here and being able to support one another and having these discussions, and it's yeah, it's always inspiring and helpful.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. It is inspiring on both sides. Really inspiring. Thank you.
It's so fun being a coach, and that privilege of being on that journey with you. So very, very wonderful. Olivia, thank you so much for being willing to be here and share and open up. It's so valuable for people who are a little bit unsure. Hey, what is it? How does it work? And that kind of thing. So very much appreciate you taking the time and participating with us.
Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
So yeah, thank you. And everyone, please do come visit us. The coach training side at www.coachcert.com. And then on the coaching side at www.coach-123.com. So thank you, both of you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Very much appreciate the time and the interest, and hope to be in touch. So take care.